Okay, people, let me shift to the Dallas Cowboys. So the Dallas Cowboys got a big-time win versus the New York Football Giants, which actually is really not a big-time win, just because the Giants are absolutely doo-doo. They've not been a good football team all year, but again, Dallas, they got the win. It was a divisional foe, but unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys lost their quarterback, Dak Prescott, for the remainder of the 2020 NFL season. Dak Prescott suffered a compound fracture and a dislocated right ankle in this past Sunday's win versus the New York Football Giants. He did go down, midway through that game, but the Cowboys, they were able to pull off a victory, so that's good for Dallas. But Dak Prescott's now out for the season, and I gotta say, man, I hope that Dak Prescott, gets a speedy recovery. I don't think Dak Prescott, is a bad human being. I've criticized Dak Prescott in the past for him not getting the job done as far as winning big games. I don't think Dak Prescott is a top 10 quarterback at the moment, but I've never said that Dak Prescott's a bad guy or a bad person. In fact, Dak Prescott, he's a very, very good, genuine human being. He's done a lot of great things for the Dallas community. A lot of his teammates speak very highly of him. He's a great leader. I love his intangibles. I've never said his intangibles are lacking. I just think that I just don't think that he's overall as good as some Dallas fans think he is. But I truly wish that Dak Prescott gets a speedy recovery, and I hope he comes back strong and better than ever, no doubt about it. Prayers up for Dak Prescott. But I gotta say, man, this injury that Dak Prescott suffered, in my opinion at least, is going to cost Dak Prescott millions among millions of dollars. And I will tell you why. Dak Prescott this season decided to bet on himself. You want to know why? Because for all the crazy contract talks that the Cowboys have had with Dak Prescott, at some point within the last year and a half, the Cowboys reportedly offered Dak Prescott a contract that was worth $36 million per year. That's a pretty big, lofty contract. And Dak Prescott decided to turn that contract down. And listen, I have no problem with people deciding to bet on themselves. I don't have one problem with Dak Prescott saying, hey, I think I'm worth more than that. Let me go out there and perform and try to get even more money. I love the competitive desire that Dak Prescott presented right there. But unfortunately, Dak Prescott, he bet on himself, and he might have crashed and burned as far as his hopes of getting a contract that's worth more than $36 million per year. The one thing you could not question about Dak Prescott heading into the season was his ability to stay healthy. Well, now guess what? Now that's in question. Dak Prescott, he's going to miss the entire season. That is going to scare off some teams, I guarantee you. Keep this in mind, people. If Jerry Jones was reluctant to pay Dak Prescott when he was actually available to play all 4 of these years, he didn't miss a single start due to injury. This injury to Dak Prescott, that gives Jerry Jones another reason as to why he should not pay Dak Prescott, because Dak Prescott, he was very durable, from the jump, the last 4 years, but now he's injured. Jerry Jones could, talk to Dak Prescott's agent and be like, he's injured now. I don't know. And again, I'm just telling you what I think Jerry Jones' thought process might be, okay? And also, keep this in mind. Andy Dalton is the Dallas Cowboys backup quarterback. And I got to ask people this question. What if Andy Dalton comes in and wins this division while Dak Prescott is sitting at home recovering from injury? What if that happens? And honestly, guys, it's very possible. Andy Dalton, he's not the greatest quarterback in the world, but Andy Dalton, dating back to his days in Cincinnati, showed when you give him protection as far as his offensive line goes, if you give Andy Dalton a solid offensive line, if you give Andy Dalton a solid wide receiver core, if you give him a real run game, he can get you to the playoffs. Andy Dalton, for about a 4 to 5 year stretch in Cincinnati, was playing some really good football at the start of his career. When he had A.J. Green, some good wide receivers, a real run game, and a solid offensive line, Andy Dalton made the playoffs. And the way the NFC East is looking right now, it is not out the possibility that Dallas can still win this division. And keep in mind, the gap, honestly, between a prime Andy Dalton, because I don't think Andy Dalton is in his prime anymore. His prime was short-lived. But Andy Dalton in his prime, compared to Dak Prescott's first 4 seasons, is actually very, very comparable. There's not a whole lot of differences. Dak Prescott in his first 4 seasons had a 40-24 record and threw for 97 touchdown passes during a 4-year stretch. In Andy Dalton's first 4 seasons, you're looking at a guy that had a 40-23-1 record, which is very comparable to Dak Prescott, and he threw for 99 touchdown passes during that 4-year stretch, the first 4 years of his career. The stats are very similar, people. The gap between Dak Prescott and Andy Dalton at their best is not as wide as you think. I'm just saying, man. And if Andy Dalton goes out there and makes the playoffs in relief of Dak Prescott, this is going to validate Jerry Jones' level of thinking in regards to why he is reluctant to pay Dak Prescott. And also keep this in mind. This is very possible as well. What if Andy Dalton goes out there and plays bad? What if the Cowboys stink while Dak Prescott is hurt? What if they are picking top 10 in the draft at the end of the year? I seriously consider drafting a quarterback. If I'm picking anywhere from top 5 to top 10, if Justin Fields is on that board, I'm taking Justin Fields. If a stud quarterback is on the board or I can trade up for someone, I'm taking that quarterback. You want to know why? Because I guarantee you, if you put a Justin Fields or a Trey Lance in this Dallas Cowboys offense and give them these types of weapons, I didn't mention Trevor Lawrence just because I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to be gone by the time the Cowboys are picking. And that leads me to say this. I believe that Dak Prescott is not going to be finishing his career with the Dallas Cowboys. I believe next year, Dak Prescott will be playing for another team. I just don't see Dak Prescott returning to Dallas. I just think that ship has sailed as far as the contract negotiations. I don't think Dak Prescott has much leverage anymore, because listen, man, like I mentioned earlier, even if Dallas goes out there and plays badly with Andy Dalton, guess what? If they're picking top 5 or top 10 in the draft, I guarantee you that Jerry Jones is going to want to draft another quarterback, just because if he was super sold on Dak Prescott, that deal would have gotten done already. It would have gotten done. Fair or unfair to Dak Prescott, the deal would have gotten done. You want to know why I say that? Because the Tennessee Titans, they got their deal done with Derrick Henry right at the deadline. The very last day, within hours of the contract deadline, this past offseason, the Titans, it was reports that they would not get a deal done with Derrick Henry. Guess what? They made it happen. When you're truly sold on a quarterback or a player or an employee or anyone out there, or a chef that you're looking to hire for your new restaurant, if you're sold on someone with talent, you will make it happen regardless. If you love a girl, you will try to spend time with her regardless of your schedule. You will make it happen no matter what. It's amazing how people make time for the people that they believe in and the people they trust in and the people they care for and the people they love. And I'm sorry, I just don't think Jerry Jones has the love affair for Dak Prescott that he had for Tony Romo, a couple years ago when Tony Romo got a big-time contract despite, having a questionable record, despite not getting the job done from time to time. I'm just sorry. I don't see Jerry Jones pulling the trigger to sign Dak Prescott to a long-term deal. I honestly can see another franchise tag potentially coming for Dak Prescott. Either Andy Dalton leads the Cowboys to the playoffs this year, and Jerry Jones sits back and says, Andy Dalton was a backup quarterback this year. We can win games without Dak Prescott. Let's try to find another quarterback. Or the Dallas Cowboys stink with Andy Dalton, and Jerry Jones says, Dak Prescott hasn't won a lot of big games. He's coming off a major injury. He's going to cost a lot of money. Maybe I need to draft a guy like Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I think I don't see a scenario where Dak Prescott stays in Dallas, and unfortunately, due to Dak Prescott's injury, I believe he's going to cost himself a lot of money, and it's very sad and unfortunate for Dak Prescott, but that's the harsh reality for his future in Dallas, in my opinion. I don't see Dak Prescott being a Dallas Cowboy for life because of this injury. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.